Welcome to the Christie Taylor Show. Super excited to be here. And I have a very special friend and guest who's going to be giving us some great information. I am in election mode. And let me tell you, who I have today is going to set it off. And that's none other than my friend, State Representative Antonio Parkinson. He is an amazing gentleman. He's dedicated to making Memphis a better place to live. And let me tell you, his latest creation, abettermemphis.com, was born as a venue for the citizens of Memphis and Shelby County to voice their likes, dislikes, opinions, praises, and solutions for issues that pertain to our city and county. And let me tell you, you need to get on the abettermemphis.com website to learn about amazing events and initiatives that he pretty much has championed for over a decade, if not two. We're not telling ages, but I know that District 98 is so happy to have him as their representative. I want you all to help me welcome my dear friend and a colleague on so many levels, Representative Antonio Parkinson.
Hey, what's happening? Thank you, Christie, and congratulations on the show.
Thank you so very much. And I want to let you know that you are my official kickoff to the Christie Taylor Show. As you know, we've had plenty of conversations where you have been nudging, pushing, being wind beneath my wings. And thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for being a part of this first initial show. And we are in election season. And I have to tell you that that was one of the things that that made me decide I had to add my voice to the chorus and begin to champion those who are on the front lines, who are making our country, our state, and our city a better place. And definitely State Representative Antonio Parkinson, you are one of those champions. So for those who want to know more about you, who may not know you, which is kind of hard to say specifically in this city and in this state, but give some brief bio, your journey, and how you got to Memphis.
Yeah, thank you. Again, congratulations. What a great opportunity. I'm so proud of you, first of all, and I got to get all of this out, so that people know we go way back. I mean, way back. You know, and to see and watch your evolution is awesome, and also, you know, to be able to be in the position that I am. I'm so thankful because I am absolutely operating in the purpose that God put me here for, and you know, sometimes that's very rare, you know, for people to actually fall into that purpose. You know, there was a lot of training and experiences that got me here.
Right.
Most people that knew me from years ago would never ever thought it, right? And you know, but it was always you know, in there. I was born in Oakland, California. You know, we left Oakland, California when I was about 2 years old. I grew up, you know, the majority of my childhood in LA, and you know, then in my preteen years we moved to Texas, where I finished high school and went on to Texas. Was homeless 3 times before the age of 17. You know, made it through that, and you know, a lot of times when you're going through these things, you don't understand what the reason is, what the purpose is, why things are happening. But everything has purpose, and I believe that a lot of the hardships that I was able to endure or survive led to the purpose of me being able to understand, empathize, sympathize with the people that I serve as state representative. So the Marine Corps, I went in the Marine Corps. This is the fast version of it. Went in the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps brought me to Memphis, and that's how I got here. I left for a few years, lived in Japan for a year, lived in the Carolinas for a couple of years, and came back. And you know, because I saw that there was a lot of opportunity to bring something new, you know, to the city, to the area, to the community, and that's what we've been doing. So I'm excited about it. I love Memphis, love my people in Memphis.
Hey, one of the things I want to say, not only do you love Memphis, you love the North. Matter of fact, I see you got your T. You got the T on representing. Now, your love for North Memphis, because actually, for those who don't know, I was DC born, but when we moved down here, we were in Tipton County, and we always kind of was in that north part of Shelby County, Millington, the Raleigh-Frazier area. I know the North. What follow the North as well? Was because were you stationed in Millington as well? Because
I was. Yeah, Millington was my first duty station. I actually went to the Marine Corps with an open contract, and based on my ASVAB scores, you know, they gave me air traffic control, and so I went to air traffic control school in Millington. Then I went to aircraft firefighting and rescue school in Millington also. And you know, after I got out of the Marine Corps, I became a firefighter, and with Shelby County Fire Department, and I worked there for 25 years before retirement, and I retired back in 2015, and that's what I'm doing. Being
a lot of people don't know about that part of your life, and
right.
for those also. The other thing is, I see your keys in the back, so I got to give a shout out to the Touche that I know that was the musician.
Right, still doing it. We literally just built a brand new studio in the Raleigh area, so we're going to be launching Black Market Creativity here this year with a new artist, and so we're working on artist development and some other things, and we're ready. We're excited about it.
One thing, Representative Parkinson, I want to put that handle on, because we're about to get to the business of what's happening. This is 2020, a year that definitely is like none other. And it's a challenging year on so many levels. First of all, just your personal perspective on the year 2020, and then we're going to dig deep into the election, both from the local, state, and national level. Okay.
Yeah, so 2020 is, I think the theme for 2020 should be, who would have thought, right? Because as we were coming into 2020, looking at January 2020 vision, that was on everybody's social media, and everybody was excited about what was to come for 2020, and 2020 threw us a hard curve.
Yes.
And, we didn't see it coming, and honestly, which is a perfect segue into what we're talking about, elections. Nobody was prepared. The state was not prepared. Local government was not prepared. Federal government was not prepared. And so it's kind of, piled us into this mess that we're in. And unfortunately, we've had elected leadership in the administrations. And when I say the administrations, I'm talking about, the governor's administration here in the state of Tennessee. And, of course, the administration at the federal level with Trump. And it's just been political leadership, to the point to where it hasn't been people-centric or focused on people and their health as much as it has been focused on their political life, so to speak. Right. And that's unfortunate when you put politics over the lives of humans and the people that you are really sent to serve and protect. And and it's been basically a travesty. I'm trying to use a kind word here, but it's
difficult. It's difficult to give kind words.
It is. It's been
raised to be
right.
One of the things that I want you to address. Okay, I'm going to take it to your district, which is the demographics. First of all, you have a very broad district. District 98. Let's talk about District 98.
Right. Yeah. District 98, the best district in all of Tennessee's legislative.
Of course it is.
I love it. I love it. It's interesting. I love it for the people, and I love it for the topography, and and its placement. And I tell people, because I'm a nature person too. I tell people that the Raleigh community and North Memphis communities and Fraser community, which I don't have any in Fraser, but I do have Raleigh and North Memphis, a little bit of Raleigh, but we're surrounded by 3 rivers. We have the Loosahachie River to the north, we have the Wolf River to the south, and we have Mississippi River to the west. And so we're kind of in that pie wedge space, for our community, which makes it beautiful. And, a lot of great outdoor scenic space. And I want us to take advantage of that. And so I've been working to move our district into that space to where adventure tourism is a big part of it. And adventure tourism is the 4-wheeling, hiking, biking, canoeing, paddle boating, whatever you want to do, is a part of that. And we're starting to see people get out more and more. We were the first to call for the demolition of the Raleigh Springs Mall, and if you are able to see what is in place of it now, it's
amazing.
It's gorgeous. It is. I always tell people, hey, we got springs coming up out of the lakes, right? And they turn blue at night if you want them to, right? Yeah. So it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And so we're excited about that. I've recently moved my office from Stage Road to the Austin Peay corridor, also directly across the street from the Raleigh Town Center. And so Yeah, yeah, we're excited about the people, but the people of District 98 are amazing. What I love more than anything about the people of District 98 is the fact that they allow me to be 100% who I am. So I don't have to put on this act of a politician, because I really don't like politicians. I really
no,
don't.
you don't.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm serious, and you know, because I don't, the word, it connotate take me. I like servants. We just have to be elected servants.
Yes.
And all the people that I've helped to elect, or especially those that were chosen by myself, like Michael and Easter Thomas, City Councilwoman.
Great choice. Great choice.
Right, Rhonda Logan, City Councilwoman, Stephanie Love, School Board, Willie Brooks County Commission. Those people, they and others, they come from the ground up, like, you know, kind of like my track was, where we were out there in the community serving people first before we stuck our hand out asking them for their vote. You know, and I just think it's very leech-like for a person to show up at your doorstep or show up, you know, on your phone and say, hey, vote for me, and they cannot quantify or justify any actions that they've taken before asking you for something that would help improve your life. You know, and you know, our people are suffering. You know, we're one of the most impoverished cities in the nation. Our people are suffering, and so if those that are asking you for your vote have not done the work before they ask you for your vote, you should tell them to kick rocks. And I believe in that. And so when we recruit people to run for office, you know, we're looking for that person that's been serving already before they decide to come and ask for your vote.
Well, one of the things that I really love about your community activism that has been around even when you were in the music industry is that you are about the groundswell, you are about the ground roots. And, you know, I know even in my radio career, I've had opportunities to be a part and participate with your Block Party for Peace.
Yes.
And we can talk very briefly about that in abettermemphis.com and how it has, if I should say, impacted your influence on the Hill.
Yes.
Nashville. So let's talk about, because you are about grassroots, you are an anti-politician who's a politician, and you have recruited amazing talent in the African-American community and throughout the city that also have the people centric focus. But A Better Memphis, Block Party for Peace, and how those type of organizations and initiatives impact your decisions on state capitol.
Yeah, you know, it's where the people are. And the thing is this: the issues or the challenges that people face are in their households, you know, in their neighborhoods, in their communities, at the micro level. And if we're not affecting what's happening at the micro level, we are failing the people, because, you know, it's that conversation at the dinner table or that conversation on the way to school that where the challenges are centered. You know, how can I get my child safely to school? Why is my child having to walk past abandoned houses with weeds taller than my child to get to school? Somebody can snatch him or her into the weeds. You know, why do I have to make a decision as to whether or not I'm going to put gas in the car to go to work, or put food on the table, or pay the light bill? You know, why am me and my 3 children living in my aunt's house or with grandma? You know, these are the things that are important to people, not this, you know, these fringe issues, excuse me, these fringe issues that, you know, what to me are red herrings that, you know, some of these politicians throw out there. You know, people don't know how they're going to eat. How we going to keep the rain off of us? Right. You know, how are we going to keep a roof over our head? You know, what kind of quality education is my child going to receive? Right? Why does my child's school on Hawkins Mill look like this, but the children's school in Collierville look like this?
Right. Right.
Explain it. You see what I'm saying? And so So those are things that are included in those events. You know, the block party for peace, Fresh Starts Community Baby Shower, you know, all of the other things that we do that how we touch people in the community. Mass for Memphis. You know, we're out there touching and hearing and talking to the people so that we know we get a direct shot of what it is that they're dealing with, and not any statistical stuff. You know what the numbers say, because they adjust those numbers to say what they want to say,
Right.
and it can be done. And so we want to know now, what are the people saying? What's happening on the ground? And so we keep our setup down there right next to people.
One of the reasons I wanted to kind of give you that space to talk about your grassroots effort is because you are a person who likes to hear from the people, which is one reason why I loved during I'll just say the summer of 2020 with the protests across this country and world, how even in Nashville, you were very supportive of hearing from those who wanted to let their voice be known about police brutality, about Black Lives Matter. And we are now finding, however, on the Hill, that there has been opposition to protesters, which is constitutional, having a voice. And even most recently, a law has been passed from Tennessee that has received national recognition. Let's talk about that, Representative Parkinson.
No, it's a sad state of affairs, and frankly embarrassing, that they literally called us. We were out of session. We were done with session this year. They literally called us back into session in order to pass the most regressive piece of legislation that's probably been passed among any state this year. And that is basically create a vehicle for political prisoners in the state of Tennessee. Those that voice their dissent can be jailed, based on some of this legislation that was passed, in the Tennessee legislature. And some of it is they will remove their ability to vote. Some of it, is a felony. And then the killer part is, so you can basically be a homeless person sleeping on the ground of a public plaza, and receive a felony because because they can say you were protesting or on the grounds of the public plaza.
If you would, for us who have not read it, can you break down the specifics? And after you break down the specifics, what is your sage wisdom for the workaround?
So the thing is this, the in layman's terms, they're saying that
what is the name of the law? What is the name of the law?
It's a number with it. I don't remember what the number is, but yeah. But they're basically saying that if you are protesting, and you get in the face of an officer, or you can be held accountable, and some of the it's multiple punishments, and some of them are felony level, some of them are misdemeanor level, and so they were saying, well, we just want to punish those that are not protesting peacefully, and so and that's a bunch of BS, and here's the thing, here's the most interesting part of this, because one of the things that I said was, now you'll punish the protesters because they're out there protesting and they may be a little angry. Yes, they may be a little angry. Hell, I would be angry too if my loved one was shot and killed, unarmed and shot and killed in the street, or if his neck or her neck was nailed on the street. Hell, I would be angry too. But you'll punish them, but you won't you'll kill every piece of legislation that would go after fixing the reason they're out there in the first place.
Right. And
so you'll punish all of the protesters for what you call, for a small group of protesters that may make the protests look like they're violent. But you won't punish the small group of officers that make all of the great officers look like they're violent.
Right.
And it's sad because and it's unfortunate and it's unacceptable, you know, that we have people that are making the rules, and this is how they want to make the rules, and it's all for political.
Now, since we are in a hotly contested election, and we have a very active community here in Memphis and throughout Tennessee, I want your advice on how we need to, quote unquote, behave or move forward while exercising our right to vote, exercise our right to protest peacefully. How can we in the state of Tennessee, with the current legislation, current bill that governor signed, between now and election, still be able to give voice to what even just happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin with Jacob Blake? We want to give voice to what is hurting us from 400 years since the civil rights, even through this current, climate. What's your advice?
So this is where the show is great right now, but this is where the show gets really, really good. So we've been doing, and I'm talking to my people, we've been doing the same thing over and over and over again. And they're still killing us.
Yes.
The definition of insanity is keep on doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That's insanity. Now, I have nothing against protesters. In fact, I encourage protesting because that creates awareness, right? But it's not enough to create awareness. Where is the action behind creating that awareness that will make people do something different? You have to apply a different method in order to make people do things differently. Now, I am not, it's a couple things that I think is important. I am not advocating violence, but I do advocate defense. So I think that if you want to see the gun laws change, then send every 18 to 34-year-old black male out there to get their gun permit.
I love it.
The gun laws change.
And Tennessee recently changed that. So we actually have more access to gain rights to guns.
The thing is this, they make these laws for themselves, but when you start applying the laws to yourself, then they're going to change the laws again. So every 18 and 34-year-old go out and go to a gun safety class and get your gun permit. So you can actually know what you're doing and understand the law and stand your ground and understand when and how you can defend yourself with that weapon. That's number one. Second thing is this. I want you to think about this. The United States of America, the language of America is not English, it's not Spanish, it is capitalism.
Ooh,
that's the language of America. So while you're protesting and saying BLM and no justice, no peace, you to the American administration, those who run this country, you sound like the teacher on the Charlie Brown cartoons. Seriously. They're like, right. And believe it or not, there are some smart and crafty individuals that are in places that are running this country. And I'm going to go back a little bit, and then I'm going to come back to where I am. During the civil rights movement and segregation, desegregation, some white guy probably sitting around in one of the country club meetings. I just run this part up in my head, so this is what I visualize it look like. You had some probably southern white guy that's saying the N-words need to stay in their own area. This, that, and other. They don't need to be, coming over here trying to eat at our restaurants and live in our neighborhoods and this, that, and other. And some smarter white guy in the country club, probably a business owner, probably leaned back in the chair and said, such and such. Let them come. They bring their money with them. Right. And they spend money in our businesses because in a lot of places they think we're going to have superior product when it's the same product that they have in their neighborhood. Right. And that wise person opened it up when he was dead on, and we took all of our money over to their businesses, their neighborhoods, because we felt like it was a better neighborhood to live in. You know, we felt like their department store was better than the one in our neighborhood, you know, or better, you know, Macy's is better than Jimmy's Fashion Corner. They probably get all the clothes from the same place, right? And we started spending our money there. So that they started looking at capitalism, right? And their language, and we abandoned all of our industry that we own and built theirs. And
now,
so
I have to interject. There is, based on historical documents and history, it was a two-pronged attack. You know, I remember my mother's mother, you know, being born at the turn of the century, like 1903. You know, they were actually segregated as well. They did not want integration. They did want to maintain, after the Reconstruction period, you know, things that happened in the 19th century, to have Black independence, Black economic, you know, empowerment, like, you know, education. You know, that's when we had, you know, a mad, you know, rush into politics, creation of, you know, the universal life insurance company, you know, all of Tulsa, you know, Durham, Rosewood,
right,
you know, East St. Louis, Memphis.
Right.
So there was a two-pronged attack in the early 20th century to make us codependent on the capitalistic system. And I remember a statement that they used to make in, you know, deep in the country, like, which is one reason why a lot of businesses failed, going back to what your point was, is that they began to communicate in the midst of terrorizing the Black business owners that the white man's ice was colder. And I remember the movie Once Upon a Time When We Were Colored, that was underscored. So you had two things happening at the same time. First, an attack on those who were pro-Black economics, pro-Black independence, you know, understood that we built this country the first time and we could build our own. And then you did have those, as you said, that smart gentleman who was leaning back and saying, wait. They make
let them come. Shut up.
Let
them come. Yeah.
To the point now that it is built upon, like you said, that whole the white man's ISIS code is built in white supremacy, and that we in our capitalistic, we have fully, I think, have been Americanized in the last 50 years. And our to simulate. I mean, it's not a negative, it's just a fact, but how do we, within the context of that duality now, still move forward? As you said, you can't just keep saying, stop beating me. You can't keep saying, stop oppressing me. You have to go past the...
And you're dead on. In fact, those words don't even need to be uttered out of your mouth because you're in control of you. Yeah, you know, and here's the thing. So now we come back to where I was going earlier with, there were, I think, maybe 4 or 5 instances where America shifted on its axis into a new space.
Yes.
One was when the rich people, watch this now, the rich people were being taxed by England.
Yes.
And the rich people talked the poor people into fighting their war against England, say, hey, that's taxation without representation. The tax wasn't even on the poor people of the colonies. It was on the rich people. And so they started dumping tea in the Boston Harbor. They called it the Boston Tea Party. And then a Revolutionary War happened in America.
And they formed their own nation. Exactly.
Right. And it was based on money.
It was always based on money.
On money.
Rival of those businessmen and corporations from England, that was a money move. Those who have come for religious freedom were not participating, and still do not to this day, participate in the American, the United States or colonies in the Americas. And it's such a deep conversation that I know you and I will have to have multiple shows about, is that Black labor, Black economic power, which is going to your point, is the foundation of this nation. And if we learn truthfully that our very presence in America, in these United States of America, is the economic power, we can wield more power when you start speaking to the capitalist language, start speaking that capitalistic language, because we are the capitalist language. We were what they printed. We are what generated it.
Yep. Yeah. And so that was number one. Then number two, the north part of this country decided, hey, we're going to become industrialized, which will give us the ability to generate more money and resources for our country, because other countries were becoming industrialized. And they said, hey, you folks in the South, we're going to change the system. So we need to abolish slavery. It was about money, right? It was about money. We were the what's the term I'm trying to I want to use, and because I said it about how they were doing the education system. Also, they were taking kids and making them into the product, you know. And so when the North said, hey, we got to abolish slavery because we're going to put machines in place instead, the South was mad, and they said, hey, you are going to literally tear our entire economy apart. Which was the point. Which was about money. So the war was fought, and America shifted again on its axis, right? Was a different America after that. The third time was when this group of young Black folks said, hey, we are not going to spend a dime in this economy in Alabama and these other states. We're not going to get on these buses. They start speaking that language. That was the language that America understood.
They sure did. They started talking to the capitalists.
And America shifted on its axis yet again, right? And then the fourth time, I think this was the biggest shift, was when those world banks were attacked in New York. Them towers in
9/11.
And it was about money.
It was
those
about
world banks, the World Trade Centers.
Exactly.
Down. America shifted on its axis yet again. Now, we've been protesting the killings of unarmed African Americans, right? And not just by law enforcement, we're talking about anybody, by the guy Ahmaud Arbery, you know, anybody can kill a Black person. And then we start protesting. Right. We start protesting. And we may tear some stuff up, right? But the stuff that we're tearing up is insured. And so it's going to be, they're going to get the money from that. And we have yet to direct. And I'm telling you, listen, Christie, all it takes is one example of the death of something from an economic standpoint, and America will start listening. But because we're protesting and not directing our dollar,
right,
they're going to let you protest till you fall and turn blue and fall out in the street. In fact, they're going to put the bricks in place along your parade march so that you can throw them and they can get some insurance money.
Which is what happened this year, which is literally
absolutely.
All of these, which is the reason why corporate America started putting banners up on Black Lives Matter. It became the vogue thing because there are, I would just say, there are instruments within American society that is trying to create a new America, capitalistically speaking. So when you do have people who are from we say the fringes, I don't believe they're from the fringes, that are literally amid protest targeting companies like they did, you know, across this country, where you see people who apparently were hired to burn down buildings.
Right. Right.
When you started seeing, okay, let's speak to the Black Lives Matter, because if they're not out there, you know, what they say, raising Cain, then the other people can't be in the midst creating chaos. we have now become a tool of distraction. Our protests have been hijacked.
Right. In a lot of cases, yes. And but again, you don't have to protest physically if you protest with your money.
That's right.
I mean, you know, it's a lot of things that can be solved with the money. You can protest without having to step foot on the street, without having to carry one single sign, and keep yourself safe at the same time, you know, from the pandemic. And so, but we have to direct our money. Here's the last thing I think that's important for people to know too, that we have to have a strategy. You know, what our part of our biggest challenge is the fact that we're always reacting to a strategy or responding to a strategy that has been laid 10 or 15 years ago. And they're just operating in that strategic plan. But because we lack a strategic plan to be offensive minded, we are responding defensively to their offensive minded strategic plan. And you're always on your heels because you don't know what their play is that they're going to run. And that's the thing. And it doesn't mean, let me be clear on this too. It doesn't mean that this is a divided black versus white, or, you know, black agenda versus a white agenda. No, but we need an agenda. And there's no, I don't know of any business or institution that operates successfully without a mission and a vision and an agenda, to a guidebook, a framework to operate in, to move forward, to get to your goal. If you play a football game, you have a playbook, and we're going to use these plays to get to the end zone, to score a touchdown, to win the game. And we don't have that. We lack that. And that's vitally important.
Now, Representative Parkinson, we do know that there are quite a few celebrities who have, you know, come to the platform. LeBron James is one who I totally appreciate his approach, even from the school to his being vocal within the league. Then we also have other celebrities who have formulated, Ice Cube being one, an actual Black agenda, which has, I would say, similar points that were the Talented Tenth said over a century ago on how to approach and advance in America. So when you have people who are on, you know, grassroots level, celebrities included, and everyone in between coming up with their own plans and platforms, how do we, in our own, okay, because oftentimes we have to speak to us because we're not a monolith. We are very, very varied within the African-American community. What would you say, bringing this energy in to Memphis, to the state of Tennessee, in a national election, from your perspective? Now, I heard, you know, pro, you know, gun, you know, Second Amendment. We need to embrace that more aggressively. We need to understand that boycotting is just awareness. It's basically promotion and marketing 101, bringing attention to an issue. But we can now, through
protesting, not boycotting, protesting.
Protesting. Yeah, protesting is just a marketing and promotion, is bringing awareness to a cause or an issue or concern. But then there is the power of the purse, which what we have traditionally known as boycotting. And we can do that in ways now that our ancestors couldn't, because we can do it literally on our laptops, you know, like what we buy, what we order, where we live, you know, what we invest. But in this election year, I just want to get to the last part of the republic with the democratic process that we have as a tool. You know, we can be, you know, support the Second Amendment, as well as our right to, you know, the right to speak, you know, the First Amendment. We also have the ability to be wise with our capitalistic investments, you know, where we put our money. Can we speak to one of the other ones that we have long fought for? John Lewis marched, walked, and committed his life to, which was our voice in the political process.
So look, it's funny. Asian Americans are probably one of the lowest groups when it comes to voting. But when it comes to economics, probably one of the highest groups. I'm not advocating not voting, but I am advocating economics. You know, I think that everybody should vote. I think that when you withhold your vote, you know, you are literally voting for somebody else that you know does not or could possibly not have your interest in heart. So I think that's risky. I also think it's very, very important to hold elected officials accountable. I think that's vitally important. And I think that we as elected officials have to hold elected officials accountable also. And that's why we purposely recruited Michael and Lisa Thomas and Wanda Logan, you know, for those city council races, because we saw that the representation that was supposed to be there for the north part of the city was being abdicated, and the resources that could have came to our area was being sent to the more affluent areas. And so by those people that were supposed to be representing our areas. And so I think it's vitally important that you hold that there's accountability, and accountability comes through your voting. That's the referendum.
So what I'm hearing is vote and follow up. Vote and follow up. Vote and follow up. That's
right. That's the referendum. That is, you remember when we worked for somebody, right, and they would give us an evaluation, right, an annual evaluation, right? Hey, you're good at this, you're not so good at this, you suck at this, and you know, hey, we want more of this, right? Well, that's their evaluation, that vote. And so when you push that button, yay or nay, for that person, you are giving them their evaluation. If they represent your needs, or they there for the things that they follow through with the things that they said they were going to do. Now, if you don't vote, then you're not evaluating, so to speak, that individual, or you're advocating and watch this, your responsibility to you, your family, your child, your neighborhood, your community. And so, you know, so if you don't want to vote for you because you're mad or you're angry or you know, don't feel like anybody's doing anything, this, that, and other, you do it for your child, because your child is going to inherit this rat basket that you decide to allow in, right? They're going to have to deal with a mess. And so, you know, and you look at the situation with Trump, and I feel and hear Ice Cube. I get you, O'Shea Jackson. But I do believe that there is a need for a plan. But here's the issue that I have with it. You're asking someone else to provide a plan for you. No, we developed a plan and give it to them. See, people, there's a mix up on how civics work. I'm not elected to decide what I want to do for our community. I'm elected to carry the message for our community to Nashville amongst other representatives, and try to fight to get our message or our agenda or our plan or our strategy of what will benefit my community across to the rest of these legislators, and convince them, hey, that's a good idea, right? That's my job. My job is not to tell you what to do, or I'm not a king or a dictator, or we're not in an authoritarian form of government. We are in a representative form of government, which means that you tell me what to do, my job is to take my ass up there and do it. That's what I'm supposed to do as the person that you elected. So I get what it is, they're saying. I get what Cube is saying, but I think there might be a slight misunderstanding of how civics work. You know, they don't tell you what they're going to do. You tell them what you want them to do. That's a conversation. That's a conversation that my brother and I have. He has been flabbergasted. I'm gonna use that word because I like flabbergasted. Right. Many people of power literally do not understand civics, that do not understand we're a republic with a democratic process, and that it is by representation, and that we're supposed to, as you say, give them the agenda and represent us in our interests. Now,
in the event, let's talk to the national election. We know that it was hotly contested in the Democratic Party, the DNC, throughout the last year, 18 months. You know, extreme, you know, we have extremes in this country, progressive, conservatives, and then the moderates are really the ones, in my opinion, in the last 10 years have been suffering because people are more polarized and they are finding that the center is too elitist. And so it's like, well, they're not interested in what I'm talking about because I want all of this now. I don't want none of that. How can a person who's in the middle, because I think that's where, as we say, the soul of America, what we're really fighting for is to find our center. I'm using a little metaphysical yoga, finding our center. And I think America doesn't want to find her center realistically. That's why we're polarized. But how can you encourage us? I'm asking you, as my friend who is a politician who's anti-politics, how can we find our center in a time when we are polarized?
You know, two things. One, we elected a black president 12 years ago. You know, 2008. I remember being on the football field on the ground when Barack Obama in Denver, Colorado, was accepting the nomination for the Democratic nominee for president of the United States. I was there, and that pendulum. We were coming. Remember this now. Let me take you back. Remember, we were coming out of the George Bush era. And
Correct.
we thought George Bush, oh my God, he's the worst, man. How could America ever be in this situation like this? Oh my God, man, if we had George Bush back. Right. And so with George Bush, the younger Bush, that pendulum swung this far. Yeah. And it swung far enough to where the reaction was, let's elect this black president. Right. And we got Barack Obama, so that pendulum went a little bit further. And then the reaction to that was, whoop, and it almost it almost made a revolution, right? And so now we're coming back again, and so that's to me, that's cosmic nature.
That is, yes, right? Yes.
So hopefully the momentum of the pendulum will begin to slow down a little bit, right, and start to bring us back, you know, to level-minded, closer to center than where it was. And so you know, I just say this.
But in the event, I want to jump in, but in the event, through a multiplicity of ways that we know elections are ran in this country, that we don't have a person who's a moderate in the White House this fall, and we do have Donald Trump 4 more years. I want to close with your wise advice on how we can still, on the local and state level, and even national, because you're talking about holding elected officials accountable, find our own center here in this city and in this state.
You know, I think that we should be extremely concerned about 4 more years of Donald Trump. You know, if Donald Trump doesn't have an F to give because he gets 4 more years and it doesn't matter what I do, we are in trouble, serious trouble. If he's been that person that we've seen in these first 4 years, when there should or could be accountability through the re-election process, or, you know, to have him for 4 more years when it doesn't matter because I can be re-elected anyway, we should be extremely concerned. And so I say that, look, under no circumstances, I don't care what the arguments are, I don't care if Joe Biden had a doggone mic stand as a running mate or a soccer ball. We need to be voting for Joe Biden soccer ball so that we do not have 4 more years of Donald Trump.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to call you Touche.
You can call me Touche.
Parkinson, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's been a great show. Way to launch. Way to go.
Thank you. And for those who want to learn more about me, check this out.